Sukuna reveals the answer we waited 6 years for by revealing that they are related. Sukuna claims he had a twin whom he ate in the womb, but his brother's soul went through the cycles of rebirth and reincarnated. Kenjaku then had the brilliant idea to take back shots from the person who had the twin's soul, none other than Jin Itadori. We finally know what Yuji's grandpa wanted to tell him, as Sukuna actually had a twin, and the purpose of Kenjaku was to use him. Uraume asks Sukuna why a kid like Yuji is so powerful. Back in chapter 215, when they were mocking Yuji, she felt a similarity between the two, which cannot be explained by Sukuna's curse energy residue within him. At the time, through this panel, you can see the king was absolutely shocked. He pondered where this strength came from and realized that Yuji was from back then, and Kenjaku had cooked up an opponent that could match him one day. Yuji's father is Sukuna's twin, which led him to indirectly sharing the same soul, as Jujutsu considers twins as two halves of one soul. This implies that Yuji's true potential is equal to Sukuna. Editor, can we have a flashback from 2 years ago, please? This leads us to the theory that Sukuna also had a twin, or a brother that he either killed, absorbed in the womb, or even ate, which leads to his evolution and making him a natural calamity even in his human form. So I just want to give our community a round of applause for getting this correct. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it means to enjoy the story together, and with your help hitting the notification bell, everything becomes better.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Chapter 257 reveals Sukuna eating his twin brother led to the evolution and made him a natural calamity, even in his human form, as Gege mentioned. We already know that having a twin is a major problem for the Jujutsu growth of both siblings, as we saw with Mai and Maki Zenin. So, if Sukuna also had a twin who was stopping his growth, he would kill that person without any doubt, as he presents the whole idea of being individualistic. He doesn't care about anyone's ideals, and admitted in chapter 257 that he rejected the fate of being a twin. Hence, to not die of starvation, he ate his brother, which also explains why he has multiple eyes, multiple arms, and an unsettling desire for human flesh, as evident by his act of consuming half of Angel's body. Speaking of which, Angel made a decision to not prioritize herself, and even said in chapter 199 that she follows God's creed, therefore forming a symbiotic relationship with Hana Kurisu instead of taking over her body and soul. 1000 years ago, this creed deemed Sukuna the fallen one, and when we link this to Kashima's question, did you become the strongest or were you born the strongest, the king's response makes more sense now, stating, I know I was an unwanted child abomination. Even Yuji overlooked protecting himself when he formed a binding vow with Sukuna, ultimately backfiring in the worst way possible. This is why Sukuna considers these ideologies foolish, as he states to Itadori that flies should just die in misery rather than cling to life. Think about it. In nature, animals are born with a certain fate, meaning they are either predators or prey, whereas Sukuna chooses to have a predatory mindset. Gege states in the fanbook that Sukuna terrified people out of their minds to the point that they didn't even recognize him as human. However, since Jujutsu Kaisen follows the route of Buddhism, the twin soul turns out to be Jin Itadori, which is the puzzle piece fitting perfectly in the lore, as this implies that Yuji is Sukuna's nephew. Now, another question that has been answered in chapter 257 is the fact that Gojo mentioned in chapter 2 that Yuji suppressing Sukuna's soul is an ability that appears only once in 1,000 years, with the context of 80% of genetics playing a role in a sorcerer's potential. We now understand how Yuji suppressed the king as a perfect cage, just as Sukuna has now claimed. Bruh, no wonder this old man has such massive beef with Yuji. This is a classic Asian family dynamic where no matter what you do, your relatives are never happy. This also makes Kenjaku Sukuna's sister-in-law, by the way, and Choso that one cousin everyone likes.
What the hell are you talking about?
But to enjoy more peak fiction, find out how Kurama was revived and has entered Naruto's daughter Himawari in this video.